Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Crit. I'm Rebecca, here to introduce you to the first episode of Book 2 of Against the Aeon Throne, Escape from the Prison Moon. Last week on the podcast, we had a bit of an interlude with a homebrew adventure set in the Dalesko settlement. We hope you enjoyed listening to that as much as we enjoyed playing it. Well, if you're itching for more homebrew content from Patrick and the Cosmic Crit crew, I recommend checking out our Patreon. If you pledge $5 or more per month, you get early access to our Drift Rider specials. These are kind of a Season 1.5, if you will, with all of the characters from Season 1 on a totally homebrew adventure. We've got the first 2 episodes up on Patreon now, and your pledge gets you access to a personalized RSS feed that you can plug into your podcast app so you never miss an episode of Patreon-exclusive content. Go to patreon.com/cosmiccrit or click the link in the show notes for more info. But for now, we're back to that fabulous Paizo content with the start of Book 2, Escape from the Prison Moon. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Episode 91, Zed or Alive.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
I want your ugly PCs. I want them to save for a disease. I want to loot your everything. If they are dead, then it's free. Players want to loot. They love to loot. Hey, all you monsters out there, from little to large, welcome back to another episode of Cosmic Gaga. Forget about Roberto, Fernando, and Alejandro. This is your GM, Patrick, Patrick, and we are kicking off Book 2 in earnest tonight. Joining me in doing so and writing a bad romance in outer space are my 5 friends and your superstars. Hounded by the paparazzi. To my right, it's a slug man and his drone, who is a straight-up monster. It's Tyler playing Nikithi with drone-itis.
Don't knock me, Patrick. I was born this way.
To his right, she's beautiful in her own tiefling way. Demons make no mistakes. She's on the summoning track, baby. She's summoning this way. It's Rebecca Rockentallara.
Hello.
A bit of a tongue twister. Across the digital table, he poured ranks into bluff, so I can't read his poker face. Smiles with the win.
Good evening.
And to his right, just crit. It's gonna be okay. Crit. Just crit. It's your brown bum puzzle.
Hey, Nebraska, how you doing?
And to my left, he's out on the edge of glory, hoping to roll the crit. It's Drew running.
Meat dress.
Guys, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Lady Gaga just repeats syllables like a whole bunch in her song. It's just like...
But she does it really well.
Her name should be Lady Gaga. Get it?
I get it. I got it.
Good. I thought I would take the bad joke this week from Drew. The end of the intros. Hey guys, so while technically last week was the start of Book 2, we had our little side quest adventure in Dalesko. This week, we're really lighting a candle under this thing. Do you guys just want to get into playing?
Let's do it.
No chit chat, nothing else at the top. I guess I have a little bit of news to announce. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. This volume, this adventure path, is called Escape from the Prison Moon.
I wonder where we're going right now.
So tell me, players, before we get there, what happened last time on Cosmic Crit?
While preparing to go off planet, the crew is approached by Jellic, who received a strange musical message from the mysterious Dalesko settlement.
We accept Jellic's mission and travel to Dalesko to discover the source of the eerie transmission. Upon arrival, we find a large, conspicuous yellow flower and, to the surprise of all, the settlement's previously disappeared population. But something isn't adding up.
As the town's peaceful nature shows its true colors, Win and Nikithi strike down the leadership, breaking the mystical hold over the settlement.
Separated by the monster, Win and Nikithi find themselves menaced by the entire settlement, while Bumfuzzle, Talara, and Kaz take on the root of the problem. Nikithi and Win manage to incapacitate, but not kill, the plant-controlled populace of Dalesko. With the spores of Thoa down, this Scooby-Doo mystery gets wrapped up in a pretty bow, and our heroes can get back to the Aslanti problem at hand.
And I would have gotten away with it too if I just made that boss fight a whole bunch more difficult. start eating you guys whole or something like that. Little side quest. It's been a while since we've had one like a full episode of those. When we were in season 1, we were just like going so hard at books 5 and 6, especially because they're like roller coaster rides. But we're taking our time here. You had like a couple weeks downtime in this little adventure, but now we are back into things. You guys got word back from Madelon's Landing as you were out here in Dalesko that a message had come in to the settlement, a message all the way from Pact Space, and we're getting back to Madelon's Landing. That's where we find ourselves at the beginning of this week's episode. We see the Phoenix's Respite docking and the ship doors opening up there. There are people waiting for you as Jellica sent word ahead. And yeah, the town just comes to welcome back these supposedly lost members of the Dalesko settlement. And it's been over 6 months. They believe them to be dead. You all return and just unload, and there are immediately plans for another citywide party that night. And, just like a huge celebration as friends and family members are reunited. As you disembark, you see Ibretta meets Jellic right at the ship's doors, as well as Mayor Madelon, Goraya Lee, and they meet the 5 of you and, discreetly kind of bring you back to the control center amidst the growing jubilee. Mayor Madelon says as you guys walk south past the graveyard back into town, the message was from Deep Drift Communications, and we believe it took a few weeks to get here. It seems before the Aslanti took the planet, Sedona must have been able to send a message to the Pact stewards. Well, we're looking into our comms data to see if we can find that message, but we wanted to let you know that it seems to be addressed to you, the crew of the Respite.
From Drift, you say? What is the message?
As you guys get back to the command center in the former garrison, the Madelon's kind of town hall now, Goraya Lee pulls up the transmission and kind of dims the lights in this computer room, and a large hologram of a dark-skinned woman with a blue Steward's Guard uniform shows up here. She has kind of streaks of the same color blue in her hair, and I've actually got a picture of her. So on our page here, I will blow it up. You guys see who we're dealing with.
Wow. Cool.
I like her hair.
That's just a picture of your wife.
You would. Yeah, no. She's going to be cosplaying as this character this year. Yeah, and she starts out, it seems like she has a bit of a long message here, and I'm not going to be performing this. We're going to the tape.
Woo! Let's listen, shall we?
This is Major to Pordra Ivosco of the Stewards. Talara, I don't know for certain whether you have a chance to receive this communication. Note that we are several weeks away from you at the time of sending this message. It is possible the Aslandi invaders that we suspect to be in Necondus' orbit have intercepted you, but if they haven't, and you are listening, then you truly are as resourceful as we've been led to believe. I therefore have no qualms about relaying the following information. We recently received a troubling transmission from the Pact Worlds colony on Necondus. It was sent from an android named Sedona, who I believe you're all well acquainted with. She informed us that the colonists had salvaged what they believed to be an experimental starship drive from an ancient wreck near the colony's boundaries. However, shortly afterwards, a ship from the Aslanti Star Empire appeared in the colony's atmosphere. There have been no further transmissions from the colony, leading us to assume that Sedona's worst fears were true. The Aslanti ship intended to attack the colony in order to lay claim to the device. Our records show that you were contracted by Abadar Corp to carry supplies to Necondus. This leaves you as the only Pact World ship with a chance of knowing the exact situation. We are requesting your aid in a matter regarding system-wide security of the Pact Worlds. If the Aslanti Empire indeed have retrieved this experimental drive, we want you to enter the Aslanti Star Empire and attempt to either destroy or recover that drive. Listen, I won't sugarcoat things. I ran your records. If you're not running from the stewards, than you're wanted elsewhere in the Pact or other systems. However, you do come recommended by a mutual acquaintance who we hold in very high esteem. That, and with the fact that none of our ships are close enough to intervene in this situation in a timely fashion, we are therefore willing to deputise you and give you leave to operate in the Star Empire on our behalf, but just for this mission. Talara, if you are there, remember what I told you when I was busting you your way back. I don't care about your pasts, I do care about your futures. You're all capable and highly skilled crew, and I know that you can pull off this mission. Look, I know that we're asking a lot of you with this request, but rest assured, you will be very handsomely rewarded for your efforts when you do return. If Sedona is still alive, I recommend you rendezvous with her as soon as possible. She will no doubt have far more information on the current situation than we can provide you. Beyond that, I can only hope that you accept our offer, and wish you good luck if you do. Ivosco out.
So that was a message indeed from Depadra Ivosco. And before I get too far, I want to once again congratulate our audio guest star winner again, Jonathan. You heard him back in episode 85 in a Talara flashback, but I knew I wanted this to be like the main contribution for this fan submission challenge as the steward kind of liaison. So what do you guys think about that?
It does line up with the information that we were given about the possibility of Sedona being taken to the prison.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about how Sedona was captured. And it does kind of clarify a little bit why the Aslanti wanted to be on this kind of random colony.
Yeah, backwater world, really. Nothing else on this planet except mist and trees.
It just seems weird that they got what they wanted before taking the colony. Did I hear that right?
No, they took the colony and then they went out to the Royal Venture and got what they want.
Right.
Yeah, and if you recall I think from Jellic's story way back in like episode 77 or so, like after you met him, he explained that there was some kind of satellite that crashed down, and that's how they found the Royal Venture. It was actually an Aslanti probe. So they had found out about the Royal Venture potentially a month or so ago.
Talara, I am curious. Why do the stewards keep contacting you?
I wouldn't say they keep contacting me, but yeah, this guy and I got in a little trouble a while back. They kind of gave me a talking to.
Wait, Talara, are you a Narc?
Am I a what?
A Narc. A Narc from the planet Narcondos 12.
Are you a Narcosian?
A Narcosian?
You gotta tell me.
You gotta tell me it's the law. If you're a Narcosian.
If you're a Coplandium, you gotta tell me. From Copland.
Yeah, Bumfuzzle's not thrilled with the idea of a cop being on board. Bumfuzzle's gonna slink back into the ship.
Yeah, believe me, Bumfuzzle, you have nothing to worry about. I was definitely on the troubled side of that table.
Just points at you and says,
You got turned! 50!
Bumfuzzle goes back to the ship and starts flushing things down the toilet. Chemical toilet.
They just drop out the bottom of the ship onto the ground.
My oregano.
Nikithi leans forward. He says, "This is all fine and dandy and everything, but I do not care if we are deputized, and I do not care what the Pact World wants from us. I want that drive out of the Aslanti hands, and then I want to keep it, and maybe sell it to whoever wants it at that point."
What if the Aslanti buy it?
Nah, I do not care that. Well, I may care.
All that matters is that I make that sweet Doshko money.
I'm a man of principles. Like we sold for the highest dollar.
Yes, exactly. No, he definitely would not sell it to the Aslanti. He doesn't want the Aslanti to have it, but he also wants to make a profit off it. He's not going to just do this because it's the right thing to do. He knows the Aslanti. He doesn't want him to have it, but he doesn't care if the law tells him he can go do something either. They can go shove it.
While I don't think it matters as to who's asking, we can all agree that we should definitely take this from the Aslanti.
Yeah, I see this as an opportunity. I mean, if someone's willing to pay us for something we were already gonna do, I think we should take it.
Exactly.
If we are lucky, we can recover the drive, and then I can reverse engineer it. We can sell the drive and then sell the plans to anybody else at that point.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Hey, Nikithi?
I'm excited the prospect of it.
From what you guys heard on this tape, why don't you make me a sense motive check?
Why don't we?
That's a natural toot from Talara, and she is very trusting of this person who...
Oh my god, natural 2, a natural 3, a natural 3? Is that what I'm seeing? No, natural 4.
Yeah, we got a couple natural toots and one natural fort.
Bling, that's a 20, boy!
Natural 20 from Nikithi.
Sense motive for Nikithi.
Wow, that's hilarious. So Nikithi, perhaps having been out in these sectors before, might know a little bit about the politics between them. You know for a fact that the stewards are forbidden from entering into Star Empire space. So, you know, they're very cognizant of the fact that that could be seen as like an act of war. They could set off an interstellar conflict. So they couldn't go in and look for this rune drive. They couldn't try and get Sedona back. But, you know, if they send you all out, then they, one, potentially retain a time edge from where you're located already in the vast. But they also get plausible deniability if you guys are all caught.
Well, I mean, like I think we've all generally agreed, this is something we were probably going to do anyway. So their motives are kind of moot for us right now. Like I do agree that we'll cross the bridge when we get there because we're likely going to screw them over regardless. Or at least try to.
Nikithi would make a point, and he's like, the good news here is that we hold all the cards. If we can pull this off, then everyone will be at our mercy, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not Lex Luthor.
Oh, aren't? Yeah, we kind of are.
Yeah. Talara was going to say, just where I like them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I Bretta like pops in and says, if you all believe that this Gulta place is where they took Sedona, if it is indeed a prison world, I mean, like I said, is she even still alive? Do we know that? Nikithi, you know, having spent some time in the Star Empire, androids are treated no better than slaves there. If they indeed took her for information on the rune drive, you know, she's only going to last as long in a prison as she can resist interrogation techniques, you know, as long as she can hold out some information or be useful.
Yeah, Nikithi speaks up and he says, Sedona is well aware that as soon as she spills the beans to the Aslanti that she is dead, she will hold out. But we have to move as fast as possible. They already have a head start on us, and I'm afraid she will not last as long as we might hope.
Talara, you had met Sedona after being picked up by this packed steward, Depradra before. At that time, you know, you were in a rough place, and she kind of opened up. Sedona told you, you know, when she was very young, she fought for the android liberation movement and was captured and underwent torture before. And, you know, she recalled that, told you that story in confidence, and was indeed seemingly decades later still very kind of shell-shocked from the event. It seemed like some pretty rough stuff, and you're not sure if the Aslanti are capable of better or worse in their prison system.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, like, did that event make her stronger? Oh, that sounds so cliche. Or will it bring back very terrible memories and make her weaker in some way this time around? There's no telling. We got to get to Sedona.
I mean, maybe she's strapped to a chair somewhere and just kind of laughing at Aslanti techniques, but they are some of the most ruthless folks in the universe, the Star Empire. Nikithi, from what you've heard, like no one escapes Aslanti prisons. It's just not a thing that happens. No one has a story of a daring escape. They're difficult.
And Nikithi knows that, but I think he's kind of sensibilities are being blocked out by profits.
Okay.
You speak greatly of profits, but the greater question is, we are breaking into a prison. How do we go about doing that?
Madelung Casey kind of pops in and says, well, I don't know how one would go about doing that. Infiltrating a secure Aslanti prison, I would say, is a suicide mission. But I would have said the same thing about taking on an entire troop of Aslanti occupiers. So what do I know? You all seem to manage okay with that. I know I can't stop you all from leaving, for going after Sedona, but we owe you a debt of gratitude all the same. He pulls out a huge black case from beneath the computer console and opens it up and says, the BTAP-2 drill site is done with its mining north of us, so we disassembled some of the rig and made some, well, let's call them modifications to the array, and formed this gun. And this is just a small parting gift from you, from us to you all. It is indeed a very high-tech, like heavy-looking weapon, and inspecting it, Bumfuzzle or Nikithi, this functions like a tactical railgun. Ooh, just a small little toy to play around with.
That none of us can use? Is it a heavy weapon?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something any of us can use. So we'll put it into our box, and we will not re-gift it at Christmas time.
Who knows? Maybe one of you turns heavy weapons at level 5.
Yeah,
it's all heavy weapons from here on out. No, but yeah, it is a pretty nice looking array. He gives you the box, and you all can kind of break up your meeting now. And as you're filing out whether to join the party or prepare for your departure, Ibretta kind of dawdles behind and then pulls you aside, Nikithi, maybe makes a show of like looking over Idis, and then as you guys are alone, kind of just stares you down.
Is there something you would like to talk about, Ibretta?
She looks around just to make sure everyone's out of earshot and says, now listen, I've been biting my tongue for the better part of this month, but you and I are going to have some words.
That is very regrettable. I was hoping that we could move past any of those unpleasantries.
I'm disappointed in you, Nikithi. I thought you were the smart one on board the ship. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's Bumfuzzle, but from what I can tell, you're acting as dumb as a brick wall.
I will be straight with you. I do not like this position that I find myself in. I do not like the idea of having some sort of wild card stuck in my crew. But the unfortunate reality is that without Kaz, I have no way of retrieving the rune drop, and I have no way of infiltrating Aslanti prison.
Well, from my point of view, you're the wild card on this crew. I mean, we both saw what was on that Aslanti data pad, and it ain't my place to say what about it, but it is your place, and you can't keep that from your crew. I mean, from your captain. Does anyone else know?
No one knows about that picture. Talara has her suspicions that Kaz may have different allegiances in his past, but nobody knows of those particulars.
I mean, he took on the Aslanti like the rest of you, but I mean, if there's something like this that were to come out at the wrong time, and you all could be in some troubles, I mean, you have to ask yourself why Kaz is hiding from his people in the first place. He out to save himself, or he looking out for other interests?
There are a lot of unanswered questions. My greatest worry is that if I reveal this information to him, it will trigger his memories and cause his allegiances to turn.
Well, I'll leave it in your hands, but all I'm saying is I ain't keeping the bad news from Mayor Madelon. Something like this happens. So whatever happens, I wish you luck out there.
I understand your hesitancy. I would hope that you would continue to trust me. I will handle this problem when it is most appropriate, but now is not the time. I need Kaz focused.
All right. She kind of just like shakes her head as she's walking off. And yeah, the rest of this afternoon, evening, you all can kind of stew on what you've learned from Depradra's message. Nikithi, from this conversation, I hope you've learned something, young man. And yeah, you guys are almost done stocking up the Phoenix's respite. the townspeople fill up your larders with as much of kind of like the fresh fruits and vegetables and things that they have, as well as give you the few remaining R2Es in their possession. And so when you guys make it back to Phoenix Station, where the ship is docked here, that evening they set up the tables, chairs, and some lights and streamers kind of hang around the ship. And once again, the town comes out and sees you all off, and it's a long goodbye. You all are cajoled and thanked and hugged. Jellic Folson's eyes are very watery. Iberetta seems to get a little emotional as well. They kind of embrace you. Talara, Wynn, give you big hugs. Weldis Arquin gives Bumfuzzle a very long and elaborate series of high and low fives, maybe a few.
A lot of like a back and forth. So it's like a fist bump, like a wiggly wheel.
You've had 2 weeks to develop this.
Yeah, we've been working on it, and like every day we add a new element to the thing. Like we're pretty tight at this point.
Bumfuzzle cool with the teens.
That's right. I turn my chair around and say, "Listen up, folks. Things aren't cool."
But if you're a narc, you have to tell me.
And also, kids, if you're a narc, you have to tell them.
Narkin's not cool.
Otherwise, it's entrapment.
Gariah Lee is there and kind of share some serious words and some chats with Nikithi while Idis idles nearby. And when Mayor Madelon comes up to you and free of charge enacts a ritual of good fortune for your venture and rubs the side of the Phoenix's respite with official Abadar core oil from a bottle that he then caps and attempts to sell you on with only 3 easy payments of 9.99 credits.
Oh man, I thought you were saying he's gonna rub my belly.
Well, if that's what you want, that is free of charge. That one's on the house.
After the belly rub, Wynn politely declines the generous offer for his snake oil.
Abadar core official good fortune oil. Only 3 easy payments of 9.99 credits. The festivities kind of reach a crescendo, and there's songs, there's dancing, and in the middle of that, you all take off, as the first kind of bits of starlight filter through the misty night sky.
Were we able to get some pickles as part of our rations?
Not a single one, unfortunately.
Really?
But
They don't have salt?
they have cucumbers.
Oh.
And zucchinis and whatever else you make pickles out of. They've got some salt and water, and you have time on your space voyage. So,
all right. Well, and I guess I know what I'm doing until we get to the prison. I'm making toilet pickles.
Perfection pickler.
Whoa.
No, that's a good idea though, because I mean,
Toilet pickles are a good idea.
toilet pickles are the best idea in general. The food that they have, they eat fresh here on the planet, so a lot of it is only going to keep for so long on the starship. But yeah, you guys have this big party, this blowout, and say goodbyes as you're unsure if you're going to make it back here to Nakondas at any point. It is a crazy universe. So as you're lifting up, you see the faces of these people that you've come to know here on Madelon's Landing, and before you know it, they're just little specks on the ground. And then all of a sudden, the lights of the colony become specks too, as they're lost in the darkness of this encroaching nightfall across the horizon. And an hour or so later, the planet is nothing more than just a mass of black night behind you all, and you are free and clear up in space once more. First time in weeks since the respite's been in outer space.
It's like riding a bike.
Well, we'll see about that. We have some roles to make here.
Oh
no. Right. So as you guys are starting your journey, Bumfuzzle, because Nikithi unlocked the Atlanti Lieutenant Sharu's data pad and downloaded some records to the ship's computer from this vessel, the Silver Needle, the starship that was used to transport Sedona and the Rune Drive from Nakondas. You have basically like a bare bones chart to help you set a course through drift space. It does still require a piloting check.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and make me that now, pilot. Yeah.
That'll be a 22 on my check.
It is a good thing that you did unlock and go through that data pad, because that would have been a failure. And waste some time doing that. But with the data, that is only a DC 15. You're able to basically replicate, a few points through drift travel that will get you to this supposed NIS system, NYS. So yeah, you type in the flight information, you hear the drift engine warming up, and it's only a minute or two before it's at full steam, and the starship just punches a hole in the side of the universe, and you all fly into the swirling kind of green and purple mass that is drift space, this ulterior dimension that allows you to move quickly through the universe. And it has been some time since we've had vast drift journeys on the show. I kind of, just hand waved it at the very beginning of the season. You guys traveled out here to Nakondas. But it takes some time, and this journey is going to take 5d6 days. So, as is tradition, there's 5 of you. Why doesn't everyone take 1d6, roll them, and we'll total them all together? And I'll just call your name out in order as they pop in for you to announce your roll. Mm-hmm. All right. Win, what'd you roll?
4.
Talara.
6.
You're
Kaz.
welcome. 1.
Bumfuzzle. Missed you. 2. Right. And Nakithi.
4.
All right. We missed a 5, but you rolled all. Oh, no, we missed a 5 and a 3, but you rolled all the other numbers. That is
17, right?
Yes, 17. As you get going in your journey, you have approximately 15 days of food in your ship's larder. And that's pushing it, as the ship's kind of chilled area is only going to keep some of that fresh food edible for so long. So by the end of it, you're going to be, like licking the bottom of the peanut butter jars as you run out of food. Does anyone else have extra R2Es or anything else in your character's inventory?
Didn't we pick up a clear spindle Aeon stone off of one of the Aslanti that we fought?
Yeah, it's on. I think it's on my. Isn't it on one of my weapons?
You don't want your weapon.
No, it makes you not feel hungry or thirst.
Yeah.
So let's hope it's not on one of your weapons. So your sword doesn't get hungry.
Check it out, unlimited ammo.
Yeah, so if one of us has that, we might be able to extend our food supplies for a little bit longer.
You might want to give it to the bear, since he probably eats the most.
You do eat a little bit more, but they've kind of factored that in stocking you up. But that won't solve the problem of
spoilage.
Food, just going bad. Like you have only a certain amount. But if you can get there in 17 days, it's only like a day or so without food, and we haven't had it come up in the show before. But thirst and starvation rules, you have to be like 3 days without food before there's any like real ill effect.
Is there not like a space Donald's we could stop by or something?
I mean, if you want to drive around drift space until you find a haunted ghost fast food restaurant.
I mean, you're speaking my language, Patrick.
That would be
rebel.
In a future side quest episode.
We're gonna burgle that hamburger stand.
No, but this could have been very dangerous if, drift travel is crazy. You guys can get there in 5 days or like 30 days, what maximum for the same trip?
Well,
I'll let the dice decide.
Yeah, well, I am going to be
pickling,
working on some of those pickles. We might be eating pickles for the last couple of days, but I'm going to use some of the only water tanks we got, which involves turlets and fuel cells.
So checking your supplies, you can do this as, you're only a few days out. But, besides the fresh veggies and some sealed meat sauces that might keep a little better, there are exactly 3 R2Es that the colony has given you all. And those, will keep. So you can keep those to the end. And at least 3 people will have a meal towards the end of this. And of course, someone can use the Aeon Stone. But yeah, we're not going to get to starvation rules. We're going to get to someone's probably going to be hangry towards the end of the journey, just like snapping at everything.
Do we have the capability of crafting Aeon Stones in that time?
That's a good question. If that's something you want to spend some resources on, we can look at that for sure.
I'd be willing to do that. I don't know how much they cost, but
they are magical items.
I mean, they're not super expensive, but
Keithy can craft a magical item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's 500 for that one.
it's way cheaper than that.
245 is for the clear spindle.
oh, I will gladly spend 245 credit or UPVs on that.
Instead of eating toilet pickles? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
You're
thanks for
talking
your
crazy
generosity, Bum Puzzle, but
This is a delicacy on Absalom Station. It's delicious. It's in the tank. It's not in the bowl. We're not nasty boys.
Yeah, but when you do use the toilet, it has a delightful pickly smell.
Yeah, it has it's like a potpourri, but it's also pickle.
oh my god.
Pookles.
Poogles. That's what we call them, poogles.
We are so dumb.
Win-win-win.
My 7-year-old would love this conversation, just for the record.
Hey, parents, let your kids listen to this show. We'll teach them not to narc on you.
You sound like Elmo with a crack addiction.
Let's cut that off there before we go too far down Elmo with a crack addiction rabbit hole. Yeah, so I mean, you guys do have a good amount of time. Let's talk about how indeed you spend it on this voyage. The last time you guys had drift downtime was your travel out to Nacondas, and you were kind of a new crew then. You didn't really know one another. You're getting to know one another. How has that changed since you guys have been a crew together now for over a month? What's this time like? What are you guys doing?
Well, Kaz is nervous, anxious. I'm not sure the right word about going into a den of Islanti torment. Considering that he was the survivor of a group that was ravaged by the Islanti. That is his last memory, as being the sole survivor of that experience, and he's gone up against them before and almost paid the price with his life. So pretty much the entire time that he is not sleeping or eating, he is training. He's you guys remember Final Fantasy VIII when you meet the character Zell and he does that crazy martial arts dance around the room before he meets your character? Miles knows what I'm talking about. It's basically that, but throughout the corridors of the ship. He's jumping off of walls. He's backflipping off of crates in the cargo bay. He's turning down the gravity in certain sections to, just in case there's any gravity, just to practice, just to make sure that he's ready for everything and in top form.
I assume he's also going into the training room to fight T-Rexes for about 45 hours too.
Yes, he's gonna spend a couple of fights just drawing.
It's actually T-Rex sores.
T-Rex SARS, you're right.
T-Rex SARS.
Oh, real deep Final Fantasy VIII cuts.
Working on his limit break.
Like 2 Final Fantasy VIII hardcovers next to me right now. So.
I literally have the game in my hands.
Do you just play with that there? What is that every week? I
busted this out on our last stream because I turned out the games that I had next to me.
Sometimes he just sits there and looks at his blank computer screen and just holds the game in his hands and thinks about playing the game because he can't remember where you put his PS2.
How does this work?
So someone else tell me what you do in this downtime.
Well, I actually, I think Talara might see Kaz jumping around the walls and maybe say something, a little sarcastic, like, why don't you do that stuff on the battlefield?
So for this 2 weeks, you're just like ripping Kaz and doing for like the whole time, just like following him around like, hey, I knew somebody who could do that better than you. Bye.
I think seriously though, she would follow that up with something like, you really should consider trusting Nikithi with your eyes. I know they're precious to you and all, but I'm a little tired of casting dancing lights for you, so...
All the rest of us can see in the dark. It's kind of a crutch at this point.
You should join the club. I mean, it's pretty fun, but you do you. You do you. I'll see you later, Kaz. Laura is keeping her eyes on Kaz, by the way.
Keeping her eyes.
Oh boy! For some reason, I just in every interaction Talara has with Kaz, I just imagine her like eating a bag of chips while she's walking past him, like sweating and training, some gun kata action, and she's like, "Yeah, it's will be real great when you jump off the walls in complete darkness. Real worth it."
She shuts off the lights behind her.
Right. So I'll go ahead. The thing that Talara has been doing over the course of this journey, besides, following Kaz around, making fun of him, is studying up on other planes of existence to find a new possible summon, and she has added fire elementals to her summoning book, I guess.
Makes a little sense. You got brimstone, you got water, and now adding flames to your repertoire.
Right.
Does the fire elemental have a name yet, or is it you gotta wait till combat?
It does have a name. Its name is Sparky.
Sparky. Okay, so we got short stuff, Sparky, and Riptide, right?
Riptide, yeah.
Awesome. So I imagine there's just like one corner of the ship that's just like singed. Like there's scorch marks all up and down the side of it as you're practicing.
Yes, most definitely.
Awesome. What about Win or Nikithi? What are you guys up to?
Well, so one of the things that Win does to kind of pass time, because he, being in space is not his most comfortable atmosphere. He likes being in nature. So in his spare time, especially during long trips like this, he's started a little podcast. Where he talks about the different environments he's gone to, and for other creatures like him, reviews them, and so he's in the comfort of his room when no one's listening. He's finishing up his recorder, and the end of it goes a little bit something like this.
In conclusion, while the moss on Anacondas offers a soft cloud-like support without sacrificing the firmness, I can't help but mark points against it due to the absence of much larger, lush trees for a bear of my size for vigorous climbing. Most of the trees lack the trunk to support a creature such as myself, but the smaller creatures, like the previously mentioned local hobgars, will have no trouble. Not a bad place to put your bare feet, paws, claws, or hooves on the ground, especially if the locals can keep the Aslanti away. 4 out of 5 paws. This has been another episode of Win's Woods. Until next time, this is Win saying, stay possum.
All right. Well, as much as I love that, Miles, and I do, in reality, that's what it sounds like in your head, but it's like stay possum. 4 out of 5 paws.
That is definitely a true crime podcast. I don't care what he says.
Is this something you share with others? Your love for documenting nature?
He definitely posts it, obviously. I know it would take
the ship's infosphere.
Yeah, to the infosphere. But I mean, he's not going to walk around telling the outlaws that he hangs out with that record nature sometimes, guys.
Why is Rebecca AFK for this? She should be making fun of this.
Guys, there's a new entry on Shipopedia. It's an entry about the Anacondas ecosystem. Win wrote that. I see. Yes. Let's all put it in our calendars to make fun of a Win later.
I'm scheduling a date.
Tomorrow.
But it's definitely something that he does partially to unwind, but also he does as a lot of podcasters do when they put stuff out there. Thinks that he's offering some a decent outlook on the different locales that he visits.
It's gotta be called something different in Starfinder, right? They use comm units and data pads, so maybe a podcast? It sounds like you have an awful accent.
How about a?
I got a podcast.
I got a podcast next to my car.
How about a Starcast? A Starcast.
Yeah, it's what people in Pennsylvania listen to.
Maybe a datacast.
Oh, that sounds super efficient. It's colloquially known as podcast some places.
All right, that's fine.
In Star Boston, it is.
In Star Boston.
Podcast. It's a podcast.
But yes, that's what Wynn does during his downtime, because he does feel more comfortable with his crew, because even though they may not always get along and they have some very, very, very close calls, they've come through some pretty dire situations. And he feels that he, at least when the chips are down, like, count on his crew. Whether or not they, are as tight as others, it doesn't matter, because they're still breathing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys are spending more and more time together, especially on these long trips. Before we move off of Wynn, I just want to say in 20 years, after this adventure is long over and either the Aslanti have taken over the entire galaxy or not, you get a single royalty check for your podcast, 10 credits. It's that popular. Guys, don't make your own podcast if you're listening to this. It's not worth it.
I thought it'd be something fun for Wynn to do, and it also does help him meditate, keep his mind on nature.
Right. Yeah, you can, if you want, you have plenty of time to snip some buds and bring some small plants on board the respite as well. We joked about you filling the the bridge with soil and wood chips and things like that, but you can have a small bit of that in your captain's quarters.
Yeah.
What about Nikithi, Tyler?
So Nikithi stands, or actually he's sitting in the medical bay, and he's holding Lieutenant Sharu's data pad, and he's locked himself in the medical bay, so he knows no one's gonna just come in. And Idis is sitting there kind of curled up, low power mode, and he's looking at the pictures again, and he wants to bring up the timestamp on the pictures.
Yeah, it looks like these were a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It's kind of difficult because, once again, Aslanti are using their own kind of system of time, but from what you can tell, they're at least that old.
Yeah, he's familiar with the Aslanti time system.
Oh, well, excuse me.
He's probably able to mark it pretty well, and he's trying to piece that together from the little bit of information Kaz has told about his past, and when he from when he can first remember. So he's trying to figure out that gap from when Kaz has his first memories to when these pictures were taken. And he probably doesn't have an exact time, but he sets down the data pad and he pulls out his custom rig and he hooks him up, and he just starts transferring over all the data, the pictures, the information about Golta, the star map, the bare bones star map that we have, and anything else. And then he unhooks it and he tucks his custom rig away, knowing that it's safe. And then he takes Lieutenant Sharp's data pad. He looks, "Hey, Idis, why don't we run a quick target practice?" And he tosses the pad into the air, and Idis just incinerates it.
Give me that Gulch gun sound effect.
Oh, dude, it's a blaze rifle now, Bo.
Oh!
It sounds like this.
Well, that was at one point in your guys' loot pool, but just go ahead and erase that from there.
And as soon as he's done torching it, he hooks into the, maybe the ship's comms, and he says, "Kaz, to the medical bay, please."
Sorry, can you repeat what you just torched for me?
Lieutenant Sharo's data pad.
Oh, yeah.
You can take that out of my credits.
You darn right I'm doing that right now.
Thank you, Jabert.
Oh, that's not that much. Never mind.
Kaz, what are you doing when we get this message? Training?
I hear it, and I grab a conveniently placed towel. I wipe my face down and throw the towel around my shoulders, and
that's what the sweat headband is for. You don't even need to. It takes care of that face sweat.
And I go to the medical bay to see whatever Nikithi wants.
As you come in, Nikithi he's standing there. Idis is now kind of mulling about And once the door closes and you're in the room, Nikithi would say, I know things have been a little tense between us, but I wanted to offer a olive branch, so to speak. I know that we are about to go into a Aslanti prison, and you may refuse, and I would understand if you wish to refuse this, but your history is still marked on your body, and as long as that mark exists, you will always be able to be identified as Aslanti. I can remove it from your body for you, if you would like.
Kaz looks at Nikithi, and he reaches towards his shoulder where the tattoo that he was unaware of until recently is, and says, in another time, I would want this gone. If you had given me this option when you first discovered it, I would have taken it in an instant. But now, I feel that this is a sign of someone transcending their past, whether they are aware of it or not. I would rather you did this. And he takes a data pad or a piece of paper or something handy, and he writes the number and the code of the tattoo on the paper, and he draws out a more elaborate design that incorporates the tattoo, but makes it new and different, a really amazing, intricate design that, because I'm not a graphic designer, I can't do or tell you what it looks like. And then he hands it to Nikithi and says, make it look like this.
Is it just like tribal art around the existing tattoo?
It's a giant hawk. It's just a hawk.
Butterfly.
The butterfly.
It's a butterfly.
I imagine that most monasteries and things, kind of like where you came from, have artwork and scripts and maybe something that you saw that was once on your master or something like that.
Your Kasathan master has all kinds of crazy Kasathan styles.
Yeah. Nikithi takes it and he looks at it, and you see him smile, and he says, you are not erasing your past, but you are adding it to your future. I can appreciate this. Lay down. I will get to work immediately. And he will insert, he will get a needle ready, and it's actually a lethal injection, and you're dead. No, he obviously will happily work on that. I don't know if there's a skill check for that.
I just get a crazy person's face with a series of increasingly tall top hats on top of it.
At the very least,
combination dexterity culture check.
Restore reference.
it's at the very least a medicine check. To, got that going on.
All right, well, I got medicine. Let's I don't know. Let's see. Maybe this is a good thing. Oh, I rolled a natural.
Oh no!
Natural. Dude.
It looks fine. It's not.
Hey, I'm the arbiter of this game. I get to tell you what it looks like.
It says Clemens Tigers.
Oh, don't do that. Permanent. This is permanent. It'll last him throughout his life. Let's not make it bad.
Nikithi is no artist, but I mean it's skillfully done as so far as you do not develop like an infection.
After it's all done, or actually while he's doing it, I think he would, be talking to Kazan to simply say, it may not be my place, but your little stunt with the AI on the Royal Venture has aroused some suspicions. One day, you will have to come clean with your past, but I think for now, silence may be best. And then he finishes up and maybe gives you a mirror and shows it to you, and then afterwards just kind of nods at you and goes back to his business.
Right. Anything else Nikithi does in this downtime?
Picks up a book on how to tattoo properly.
Yeah, maybe he looks at his drawing skills with and improves them.
I want another crack at it. Let me erase what I did.
Yeah, all things are possible.
So Nikithi is crafting a spindle for Talara, right?
Oh, sure. Let me give you a mysticism check for that.
No check required if you've got the ranks.
I have
craft it.
I have 3 ranks in mysticism. The max.
Yep. So you can craft up to level 3 items. Now these are not true Aeon stones, which are crafted from like ancient magics and things like that, but is very much like a carbon copy of the one that you pulled off one of these Aslanti. You can like grow the crystals in like a vat.
I imagine we took the crystals from Nakondis. Like, remember there was that mineral vein of crystals that was in Madelon?
Mm-hmm. No one told me that before you left, you went to mining in the town center, but those are pretty worthless crystals, but you can, like, from that, turn these into, along with some UPBs, the base of what will keep you not super starved at the end of this trip. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good, what we said, 17 days. So it's a couple weeks in drift travel. Not a lot happening. It is, I mean, just like regular space, it is like a huge open area. But it's also a place where, like, necessarily the rules of spatial differences don't really work. Finding someone in the drift is very, very difficult unless they have some kind of beacon or some kind of tether. So yeah, the time passes, and 17 days later, you guys exit drift space. A few of you maybe a little hangry, a day or so outside of having something really substantial. Maybe you ate the R2Es the day before, but you get into the NIST system. There's no packed data in your ship's logs about this area. It is within the borders of the Star Empire. The only thing that you've got is like a record dating 50 years ago, and it's the last time a packed ship got a message out when they were this far into the Empire. And yeah, that ship was reportedly destroyed by a cadre of Aslanti starships, and that's why since then this has been like a no-fly zone as marked by the pack stewards, and there's warnings for traders and travelers that sometimes it's a one-way ticket. As you get here, it's a fairly unremarkable system. Number of planets, some gas giants, hot inner worlds, icy kind of gravity, normal gravity rocks on the outside. What do you guys want to do?
Great question.
Find food.
Can we scan it to see if there's a sensor gap or somewhere to land to get in, like a wall we could break with something? Or
a wall? What kind of wall?
Well, we have that new weapon that I figure might come in handy because it was part of a drilling equipment before it was a railgun, right? Isn't that what they said?
Well, like I said, there's like 8 different planets here. It's a fairly large system.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to land somewhere first, right? Do we know which moon is the one in question? Do we have any kind of coordinates, or I don't know how space works, but
no, the drift coordinates like end at the system.
Can we do a scan on planets for life signs?
Yeah, I mean, each planet's going to take you a number of hours, if not days, kind of navigating back and forth between them. Is there an end you want to start at first?
Before we do that, is because I imagine life signs would have to get pretty close to the planet. Is there a concentration of metallic objects in orbit that we could detect from farther away, like a?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
No, I mean you'd have to be within, basically close enough to be in orbit of a planet before you can. I think you have budget sensors before you can figure out like anything about the planet, or if something is orbiting it.
Oh, this is gonna take forever. I shouldn't have listened to Wynn's podcast on 2x speed.
Yeah, you got some time to burn here. So like I said, there's gas giants, hot inner worlds, icy outer, kind of rocky planetoids. Where do you want to start?
I mean, I think gas giants is probably something that we would save to the last.
Yeah, maybe start with the rocky planetoids.
Yeah, maybe rocky is best. It's easiest to build a wall on a rocky foundation. So,
yeah. So, I mean, you guys can start puttering into the system, going towards like an outer ring. One of the furthest back planets. Maybe planet NIS 7 is the closest to you, just by the way of where it is in its orbit at the time. And getting into an orbit around it takes some time and do some quick scans. There's definitely no life on the planet. It has no atmosphere. Whether or not there's some installations built on it, you're not getting any readings, no life signs. But as you guys are are exploring and your computer starts building this holographic display, all of a sudden the computer lights up with another warning, and this time it is your sensors telling you that there is a vessel out there in the murky blackness of space tailing you and sending pings to the Phoenix's respite.
Well, we have that transponder that we picked up off of the
Barazad.
Destroyed the Barazad. I say we use that to send back some signal and then also sort of respond as the Barazad.
That is a good idea.
The way these transponders kind of work, it's like a license plate basically, but if you send a beam to a ship, it'll bounce back with some very basic information. In the PAC system, those transponders kind of work like licenses and things like that, what kind of vessel you are, if you have weapons, things of that nature. Pirates often just turn their transponders off, so if you get back a null signal, you're probably in for a rocky ride. But if you guys have on the Barazad's transponder, it follows you for a time. Do you want to make me a computer check and try and scan them back?
Sure. And
Nikithi jumping on that?
You want any help with that?
Sure. Anybody who's got feels confident in their computer skills, Nikithi would ask them to help him out. Well, maybe you should have just taken that role.
What's Nikithi's? Oh, Nikithi's.
Yeah.
Oh, phew.
You guys both have.
Nikithi rolled a 17, making it a 27, and with Bumple's assist, bumping it up to a 29.
It's like a DC 12 or something. Pretty close. Like there might be some computer countermeasures maybe in the way, but you're able to get back ping, and it is from a larger, maybe a beefier style of Aslanti Sovereign class warship. I don't want to say twice as deadly as the Barazad, but it is certainly more heavily armed and has perhaps a larger crew complement than the one that you guys fought above Nakondis.
Nikithi may turn to everybody and just say, the ship is even worse than the Barazad. If possible, we should try to convince them that we are Aslanti, but we had to take this ship instead.
Well, they haven't gotten in within scanning range of you yet. Do you want to open up communications?
I mean, I don't think we need to. We just need to fly casual.
Oh, back to that, huh?
Yeah.
Fly casual.
Well, eventually they will try to open communications, and eventually they will ask for us to designate ourselves.
Yeah, I think maybe Kaz should sit in the captain's chair for the moment.
So we'll fly casual.
Oh heavens!
No.
There's an episode title for us.
Oh gosh, I don't like it at all.
Well, too bad. It just happened.
So Talara is going to cast Charming Veneer on Kaz as he takes the captain's chair, just in case.
Bumfuzzle, is there any way we could make it seem like our video transmission signals are down? We do not want them to see us.
Patrick, is there any way I can do that?
Just Bumfuzzle, just take a hammer to like the holographic camera. This'll do.
Just smash something, literally.
They're damaged. Oh, it used to be functional, but now it's all broken. Sorry, I'm sorry to tell you.
This is really up to Bumfuzzle. Are you? What are you doing on the stick? You're piloting the ship, and it is still behind you. What does constitute flying casual for a goblin?
I mean, so basically the story I'm going with is I was told to transmit a data pad to the prison colony, but I was just told the system NIS. Like, nobody told me what planet in the system, like where this thing was. So I'm just flying planet to planet, scanning to try to figure out what this thing is.
Okay.
So I'm just behaving just like I would in front of a cop. It's just like there was some narc in my car who was trying to put me on blast to this cop, but I'm not gonna let them trouble me. I'm just gonna keep on riding.
Okay, so you're just moving around this rocky ice planet. Not really stopping.
I'm just gonna like fall right into orbit around it. Do a quick scan. When I come around the other side, I'm gonna pop out again. Move on to the other planet. Do another scan. And just kind of keep figure eighting my way through the solar system until I.
Well, once again, that'll take hours, if not days. So
sure.
Before that, as you guys are just locking into orbit, it stops pinging you all. And it just kind of lazily keeps speed with you on a diagonal and goes into orbit as well. In a somewhat offensive position, it's keeping you in front of it, but also kind of to its side. But after a few minutes of that, it eventually engages its engines to full and pulls past you and kind of moves off on another vector. It looks like it's going towards like the 8th system in the planet if you're going towards the 6th. And then it's outside of scan range. It never did physically scan you.
See? Worked out just fine.
I think we fooled them.
We are incredibly lucky.
All of a sudden, as you guys are, breathing a sigh of relief, a small hobgar pops out of Bumfuzzle's pocket eating a pickle.
Timothy, what are you doing here?
The pickle smell. But as soon as that jump scare pops you out of submission, you get out of the Atlante's sensor range, and as soon as you do, almost, your computer begins reading another ship coming in from a different direction. Seems like maybe it was around this planet, making a similar journey, and it opens up hailing frequencies kind of immediately. It seems to have longer range communications gear than you guys, and also starts reading your ship's signal. You get those same pings. In the open comms, a holographic image starts to form, but first you hear in Atlante language, which I'm sure most of you speak at this point, you hear a fairly alien female voice say,
"Good hunting, Illustri. I hope your travels have proven fruitful to you and the Star Empire. May I offer you my wares, items to enrich your personal collections and strengthen your resolve while away from home." Oh, why, that's interesting.
There's a pause in the communication as the holographic kind of switches and the broadcast comes through a little brighter. You see a lithe figure in a full yellow and red kind of conical headpiece with only the eyes visible through a slot. There are 4 arms with very delicate fingers steepled in front of this woman, and they are wrapped in a very deep cerulean blue cloak. And we've got images of what this looks like.
Is that a witch weird?
It is indeed, for the the keen observer. That is Tyler. Some new witch weird art is a female in this full getup, and from what you can see of her facial expression, she seems a little quizzical as she continues talking, but now has switched to the packed common tongue. She says,
"Greetings, travelers. You may refer to me as Seonsi. Welcome to the Star Empire. I do not suppose you are interested in seeing my supply of items for purchase. I have recently stocked up with a number of trade goods."
We are low on supplies from our long travels. What do you have in the way of food and drink?
Very little, unfortunately.
She kind of points to a Aeon stone floating around like the tip of her conical hat.
I have several things I can send you my manifest if you are interested. All wares at fair market value. I take a variable forms of currency. Are your credits indeed insured by your Abadar core?
Table talk.
Are they?
Are they?
Packed credits are indeed. That's kind of the system that's set up. Abadar core manages the currency.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I read that when I looked up Avatar last week.
More importantly, we done been found out.
The other thing is I think we mostly have UPBs, so we can really got some real greased wheels here in terms of like ease of transfer of funds.
Yeah, I say we go the UPB route and really turn into that skid. Don't release too much about packed stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She continues on as you guys are maybe talking, like holding your hand over the microphone, says,
I will warn you, not all vendors in this space take these monies, but I shall honor them. Perhaps you also have valuable trade goods, stones, precious metals, things of that nature.
The hand covering of the microphone sort of like intense. Now it's like two hands, and the conversation I think intensifies.
What are you guys saying?
It's like, oh, we definitely have those. Oh, we got lots of stuff. We got to trade all this. We got a lot of stuff in the hall.
Who's taking charge of the horn? Who's communicating?
Yes, fellow traveler. We have many wares to share with the peoples of these lovely planets.
I love
Shall we talk?
Yes, talk, trade, that we can.
No, dock as in make our ships kiss.
Bubbles like puts his pointer fingers together and is just like
this. Make the ships kiss.
The Seonsi will indeed kind of like lock step with your guys' orbit around the planet and is not coming over to your ship, but there's like a very small robotic arm where they can bring things out of their cargo bay and then kind of unload it over to you all. And I have a whole list of things that you can buy from this traveling merchant. Not something we've really had before in Starfinder, a fixed store list.
Question before we get this list.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get any credits or UPBs from our trip to the Delesco settlement?
I believe it was 2,000 UPBs.
Okay.
So just going through the list, I'm posting it in our online loot pile. A number of things, including a clear spindle Aeon stone, as well as an iridescent spindle one. Some other magical items, hybrid items. One of the things that might pique Kaz's interest is dark sight goggles.
Dark sight goggles. Dark sight goggles.
You can't afford those.
And they're pretty expensive. Some magical serums as well as staff of healing, things like that. So you guys can go through the list as we continue talking and see what you have to trade or sell. Seonsi will, as you're looking over like a readout of her goods, says,
I was surprised to see a vessel such as yours all the way out here. You see, I recognize the hull configuration from my time in the Pact Worlds. It is one of the sun worshippers of your peoples, is it not?
Yeah, it's a Sarenrae vessel, but it does the job.
Perhaps you are aware, given your transponder beacon signal, but these types of craft are shot on sight within the borders of the Star Empire.
And certainly you will not be forming any Star Empire vessels in the vicinity that we are here, correct?
A very untrustworthy and paranoid person. I, Seonsi, do not work for the Star Empire. I am a free trader, and informing on the Aslanti is not good for business wherever you are. But I should once again warn you, if I were an Aslanti ship or spy and were to take a closer look, as I am, if you all had traveled too close to one of their outposts or closer to a patrol, the ruse would not work on them, as it did not on me. Perhaps you will want to purchase a new vessel or make some alterations to your current hull design, yes?
Are these services that you can offer?
I am not a starship saleswoman. I transport symbol goods between systems. There is one, though, that I know of nearby. There is a friendly port, I should say, I suggest you head to Outpost Z. It is a free station, and technically lies outside the bounds of Star Empire control. It is located orbiting Nis 6, and you'll find it a fairly interesting place. Lawless, though, endeavoring and resourceful traders such as us can achieve a good profit there. And if you are looking for weapon and tech upgrades, you might find some interesting items in their vendor stalls. I can send you the coordinates.
She beams over the information, and automatically your ship can, extrapolate like a 5-hour journey to the next closest planet. She continues and says,
I have a single contact person there who goes by the name Talmarin. She is a resourceful smuggler and a skilled mechanic. If you have an interest in Aslanti ships, perhaps installations, she has worked on, taken apart several, perhaps scrapped pieces of them in the past. She might be worth seeking out.
Excellent. That's a wonderful idea. Let's go there.
Do we want to buy anything before we go? I feel like she's given us enough information that we probably should, just out of courtesy.
I mean, I'll sell her some pickles for just bargain basement prices.
1,000 credits per pickle, right?
Exactly. But the information was like 6,000 credits. So when I sell her like six pickles, it's just break even,
Can't sell her 12 pickles. Come on, I know you got the pickles.
She only wants 6 pickles. What can I say? It's a
Who only wants 6 pickles?
That's the pack that I sell them in.
Yeah. Isn't it terrible how pickle buns always come in sets of 8, and pickle packages that you pick are always packs of 6? Guys, any questions for Seonsi or any purchases? I know you guys crafted a lot of stuff before you left, but technically you have access to purchase some things you would not be able to craft.
Yeah.
Seonsi, we thank you for hailing us. I have a sensitive question, if I may be so bold.
Go right ahead. I swear, though, if you try to sell me on the pickles again, I will cut these communications off.
No. It's not about the pickles again. It's different this time.
Okay, go right ahead.
Are you familiar with relish? No. We are told of a place where prisoners are taken. Maybe like a prison that is in the area. Do you know of this area?
A prison in the Aslanti-held system of Nis? No one knows of this place. It is not spoken of.
It is not known of, I understand. Is it not known where it is?
Can Nikithi sense motive on that?
Yes, well, she very pointedly, it's like DC 0, has admitted to knowing where it is, but will not say. She continues on.
It is certainly not known as Gulta in their tongue, and no one has heard of this place, for it is one of their black sites, and does not show up on Aslanti databases, and no one has told of this place, for it has impenetrable security, though perhaps no one has really tried.
I see. Well, I'm sorry that we couldn't come to an exchange of information, but here are 100 credits for your efforts.
And I shoot her a little transfer of some credits.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't require the arm. You can do that digitally. She does seem to have an Abadar core account that you can kind of transfer those over to.
Nikithi will also purchase some of the spell gems of Charm Person.
Okay. Pretty simple ones. Anybody else? I know there's some pretty expensive items here.
Yeah, Kaz will not say anything, but Drew will cry that he doesn't have enough for dark side goggles.
You didn't have enough. Why'd you waste it on stupid things like armor?
Yeah, I need to replace that level 2 armor.
Well, before she leaves, she'll say,
I am outbound from the system now, but I will send you my contact information here aboard my vessel, and I do travel back through Ness often. Perhaps we can do business in the future. If you have need of certain items, I can also try and locate those for you for a nominal fee.
So yeah, she'll send over her information and give you a kind of a ship waggle as her ship blasts forward and past you all. And yeah.
I'm gonna marry that lady.
Patrick, what was the name of the contact that she gave us?
The sparks are flying.
Imrin.
Talmarin, yeah, Talmrin.
Oh, Tal. Okay.
Yeah, so you guys want to head off to this outpost Z?
I think that's probably the smartest.
Zed's the word, baby.
I'll not lie, you
Zed's
can keep
dead, baby. Zed's dead.
If you guys want to just keep looking for the prison planet and have a cadre of chance encounters with other Aslanti starships, I'm fine for that too. That will be maybe a few too many starship combats back to back. But
Nah, we're good.
Nah, we're going to Zed's palace, Lord Zed.
Yeah, so like I said, maybe a few hours later, you guys can.
My spaceship grow.
Okay. It is a few hours later. You guys can travel to the coordinates Seonsi sent you, and you see a very large, free-floating object in orbit around this icy rock here in this system. And we've got art for this too. Take a look at Outpost Z.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's really cool. It looks like a fancy version of the space station K7 from the original Star Trek episode, The Trouble with Triples.
Yep.
Wow, nerd alert.
Yeah, probably true.
I don't think you can say nerd alert on a Starfinder podcast.
Thank you, Miles.
How do I get nerdier
can.
than the Starfinder?
Yes, you can.
The actual Starfinder podcast.
For one thing, it looks a little like a Swiss Army knife.
I can see that.
Yeah, so like the little branches popping out as toothpick and nail file. What it actually looks like to you as you approach it, and it escapes out of the shadow of this icy, rocky planetoid. It looks like an Aslanti design, maybe an older Aslanti design, but you see a lot of the hallmarks of ship and structure design here. And Nikithi, especially looking over it, you might have seen something similar to this elsewhere. It looks kind of like a mining or refinery facility. But very old and massively retrofitted. You see these long arm docking bays where there are dozens of ships kind of docked with it. Seem to be add-ons and kind of constructions over the course of maybe many years. And yeah, as you guys draw near the Phoenix's respite to the ships in port, you see many of them are kind of like wet docked. They're just linked via their tethers. And as you get closer, an automated computer system routes you to an open airlock. You guys can park the respite and link your airlock to the system via umbilical. Is everyone escaping the confines of the ship you've been on for 17 days to go?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'd say so.
All right.
Why do I get the feeling that we're going to be saying this deal keeps getting worse all the time later?
Yeah.
And Aslanti in all black shows up as you're going out to dinner. It's like, oh, great.
I mean, it's we don't know the Aslanti to just let their technology go. So it seems a little weird that this is an Aslanti station run by presumably a bunch of.
I think everything will be fine. Nothing surely bad will happen at all.
It's all rainbows and puppy dogs as you get in here, and you're like, wow, we were really good.
Wait,
Zed is great.
wait, what docking bay are we in? 94? Huh?
No, it's happening all over again.
More like docking bay 66.
No.
Other Star Wars references.
I figured we might want to start asking around for this Talmarin.
Well, you can do that once we get inside the station. If everyone's going in, you're waiting outside for maybe a minute before the airlock cycles, and when when you are able to pop in and take off your helmet, you're just hit with a hot wave of stale, muggy air, smells of nickel and rust, and you are ushered into a very thin hallway, maybe connecting a half dozen similar airlocks with what looks like a large, wide corridor. I'll take us to said corridor there. And as you're going through here, this might answer some of your questions about why would the Aslanti leave this place. It is a very breathable, oxygen-rich atmosphere, though maybe weird mixes of some of the other gases. It kind of feels a little heavy breathing. Very muggy here as well. There's no ceiling above you, but rather just a labyrinthian series of ducts and pipes that are leaky and porous, and just looking at the state of the metal grates under your feet and the kind of the airlocks rusted over. This place looks almost ancient. This is a very old Aslanti installation, probably one that they just gave up at some point. It is at a certain point more advantageous just to build a new refinery than it is to keep patching together one that's fallen apart.
Yeah, Wynn's just like,
This place looks like a flame hole.
Do not even get me started. I can barely look.
Yeah. So it is, from what Seonsi told you, just kind of like an outpost where pirates, smugglers, things like that kind of join in. People on the fringes of the Aslanti Empire. And it's supposedly not under Aslanti rule. I guess you'll find that out the hard way. But yeah, as you get towards the end of this hallway, it opens up into this larger kind of concourse, maybe 10, 15 foot wide. And before you lies a huge metallic door. It looks like it's maybe 15 foot tall. And as you approach it, it does not open, and you see no security pad or entry system. There is a small bioscanner reader above the door frame. But yeah, nothing opens up here. What do you guys want to do?
Before we do anything else, I'm going to cast Charming Veneer on everyone in my party, myself included, just in case we come across some pirates who are a little better at sensing our motives than we'd like.
Is this a level 1 spell?
No, it's a level 0.
Oh, wow. That's
sweet.
I was about to say.
Spam.
No, I'm wasting all my spells on that now.
Yeah, it only lasts for a short while, though, right?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
But you're just like, are you just going to keep tapping everyone on the shoulder and be like, you could be more charming?
Have you seen my teammates? Yes, we could all be a little more charming.
Quit staring at our weird shoes.
So there's a bioscanner. Can I maybe get any information off the bioscanner on what it's looking for, or can I hack it? Like, what can I do to this thing?
You might need a little boost to get up to where you can, plug in a port from a data pad.
Nikita can stand on Idis, and Idis will rear up.
Might need a little bit more help than that. Would Wynn be willing to do the old booster seat?
Sure.
Okay, so now we need the fan art of Wynn holding up Idis with Nikita on top of Idis.
If Wynn comes up to like lift Nikita, he might look and be like, maybe Bumfuzzle will be better.
Nope, you're in for a pound and for a single penny.
Yeah, Bumfuzzle's already knocking on the front door while you're doing this.
I mean, it makes a very, very thick metallic sound that doesn't seem to be traveling very far. You hear a lot of sound and vibrations throughout the ship. Make me a DC X computers check, Nikita. Let's see if you can get into this system.
Can I assist?
Yes, go right ahead. You're up there. You can kind of see what he's working on.
Oh,
yeah, 14 will assist. Would you want to roll for me, Tyler?
All right, here it comes. And I've got a 10 on the dice, plus 10 is 20, plus an assist is 22.
All right, with a little help from your bear captain friend, you can indeed kind of read what is in the sensor's log and in the computer log, and it's like every single kind of weird looking alien like outline and heat signature and things like that, except for humans not on there, a bear definitely not on there. It just doesn't seem like you guys are are the kind of people that normally come through this door.
Gotcha. But after it, do I get the idea that after it kind of scans whoever wants to come through the door, that the door will like open up for it? Is this part of the opening mechanism of the door?
Yeah. So if one of the things that you can tell is a Drelek. If a Drelek came through, there's like very easily readable data that would open up the door.
Cool. Can I make it think that we're all Drelek?
Yeah. So it takes a little while. It doesn't seem to be communicating very quickly with like a central computer elsewhere in the station. So like it takes a few times, like sending the command back and forth before it will allow it. But as soon as it does, the door goes. Swamp.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll use my disguise kit to make me look like something else.
The smallest Drelek ever recorded.
I mean, it just needs the face, right? That's all it needs.
I mean, no, it's a lot of things, but like
honestly, I feel like it would have the biggest trouble with Kaz because he's human, and that's
we just need it to open one time, right?
It doesn't. I don't know that we need to hack it this much. We could just have one of y'all go up there.
I mean, I've already done it.
Run in.
I've already done it.
That's totally done. It's open. Let's walk in.
Yeah, Patrick said it's open, so we're good to go.
Well, yeah, it's open now, but I mean, I imagine you're going to leave the station at some point, so it might be good to have this skill set under your belt if you want to open this door again. But yeah, the door opens, and it seems like it opens up to the middle of the station, and you see a huge central multi-level plaza kind of sprawling out in front of you. Hundreds of aliens, all shapes and sizes, kind of milling, walking about. And as you all walk forward, you hear the sounds of voices and scrabbling feet in the ducts and pipes above your heads. Dozens of alien dialects fill this room as people kind of noisily walk up and down industrial-looking gantries and some catwalks along the side on a level above you. And I'm gonna just open up a very large space. This is dim light here, but most of you can see just basically what this looks like. Boom! Here's the entire room, the promenade of the outpost said. All kinds of aliens all over the place. What's the matter, Tyler?
I don't know what Tyler's laughing at, but
I know what Tyler's laughing at.
What?
Fucking is that Drew in there?
Yes,
I snuck a picture of Drew in there. He's definitely alien. Not Kaz, mind you, just Drew. Wearing a prong shirt.
I wasn't ready to see his face.
Love you too, Tyler. Thanks.
Oh, dude, it's so funny. No, I love you. It's very fun. Oh my God. Speaking of,
this does look just like the Cambridge Side Galleria.
Nikithi would turn, maybe as before, or as we're entering or before we're entering, Nikithi would turn and say, "When I looked through the bioscanner's complete history, I did not see even one entry for a human Kaz. It might be wise to lay low."
I will hide behind the bear.
What does that mean? Go back to the ship, or put on like a hoodie?
Put up a hood, yeah. I mean, just don't make himself,
Bumfuzzle, give me your helmet.
The giant bear helmet?
No, Bumfuzzle. This is goblin helmet.
The football-shaped goblin helmet, yes.
Yeah. And I'll spray paint it black with two big eyes, so I look like an alien.
There are so many great, for you listeners out there are so many great images as I'm pouring through how Patrick has decorated this bazaar. I think I see a death web. Is that like a spider, Patrick?
Yeah, no, I might have pulled some fancy images right here and there to fill this place out. There's some nasty looking bug-like creatures.
In the bottom right, is that another uplifted bear, or is that another kind of alien?
No, this is an alien. You guys got no clue what this thing is. It looks like kind of like a gorilla almost. It walks on its four arms kind of in front of it, but yeah, it's definitely humanoid in facial appearance.
Like a bearilla.
Yeah, it's a fairly large and lumbering. But I mean, you see like a ton of aliens that none of you have seen before. Although there are a few that you might have in the pact. There's a lot of Dralix and Reptoids, as well as a few Recreaches, which I'll show you what these guys look like. They're, rare in the pack system, but you've definitely seen them, like maybe here or there.
Yep.
They've had contact.
Who are these? Who are these humanoid folks up here in the upper?
Oh, those are like I want to say they're Verthani. I can't remember the name of them.
Yeah, these looking very lanky, kind of like odd muscular looking humanoids with these deep red eyes. They, maybe as you like turn your head can imagine they're human for like a moment, but like the way their elbows kind of bend backwards every once in a while and contort, they are one of the freakiest alien races for me.
Yeah.
They're like the alien race Jimbo.
Yeah, they're great mechanics, I believe, is part of their traits.
They look like a StarCraft character.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that really only exists in the Aslanti system. I can tell you outside of the game, your characters don't know this, but these ones specifically are Brackens.
Brackens, that's right.
The large kind of ape-like creature is Neskintes. But yeah, there's a whole number of odd creatures here in this room, and this is maybe the most Cantina feel that you guys have gotten before, as you've been in packed bars and things like that, and space stations perhaps before, but this is even more alien than that experience. As you guys are kind of you can move yourself into this room like anywhere down here on the south side. Put yourself in any order.
Yeah, and as we do that, Talara would be like, "Come on, boys! Didn't your mothers ever tell you it's not polite to stare? We've been talking about these people behind their backs for a while."
Yeah,
we haven't said anything.
Talking in common, and it's not a tongue that you hear here, so I don't know if anyone's really paying you much mind. You might get a few odd looks by like what looks like a walking brain in a jar that just kind of like looks by you, and a couple of like eyes float up next to it. It's this guy. Like there's art all over this.
Is there one of the gorilla-looking guys that hangs out with the brain in the jar?
Yeah, sure. I'll put him down here by this Nikisti. Yeah, but feel free, please put yourself in the room in whatever marching order you guys want to try and file through this crowd.
I just realized that maybe bringing something that looks like an Akata wasn't smart.
Well, you see some other weird creatures that don't look sentient, don't look like they are in control, like being led around. There are some makeshift stalls in a few corners on what look like upturned spools where there's like little trinkets, knickknacks. You see some large collections of like fabric on spools, and like a table just full of scrap metal. The room is recessed in the middle here. As you walk forward, you can kind of peer down about 15 feet into a very open area of long, kind of unused, quieted or refinery machinery. And as you file in, you get a better look. There seems to be a door to the east and another similar kind of huge door to the west. There's actually a few passages to the east behind some of these stalls, and the sounds of alien languages kind of filtering around you. What do you guys want to do?
So can I do a culture check to see what would be an appropriate greeting to use among pirate smuggler kind of people? I assume that's what this is.
I mean, you could use the universal greeting.
What's that?
Ba, weep, gra, na, weep, niniba. It's a universal greeting.
Rebecca, please make me a culture check. See what you know.
Hey, DC is -5 on this for black markets, pirates, and smugglers. That's a 26.
Do you see someone you think might be selling some hot material? You can kind of give them like a curt head bow, maybe just like duck your line of sight away from theirs for a moment and then bring it up real quick. And like one of these vendors repeats it. What looks like a small ferret-like creature.
I love these guys. Those things are great. Oh my!
Screep Deeps. Oh, Gauze-Claw. This one's a Gauze-Claw, yeah.
Gauze-Claw, yeah.
There's some other, I don't know if they're in this room. There's some other smaller furry creatures here as well. But, yeah, a few people kind of, after you give them that signal, will kind of like shake their hands in your direction and like show you their wares and start speaking crazy made up alien language to you, like.
Are there any languages that we might recognize that are not common?
Yeah, you walk by a few groups of maybe varying alien races that seem to be using Aslanti, kind of like broken, stilted Aslanti as a common language.
So a lingua franca, if you will. Talara might walk up to one of these jokers and start speaking Aslanti to them, probably also in pretty broken Aslanti.
Pick an alien. Let's get through and move yourself nearby them.
Who would be fun to talk to? How about this guy up here?
Yeah, which one? The one on...
I can't see what they really look like. I'll go with the guy just to my east.
Oh, this beautiful, handsome devil. It's a Quarlu.
Is that like a snail?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. Alien snail-like. You got 3 arms kind of coming out of this. It's like a large rocky protuberance on their back, and
looks like a molten rock on its back, kind of like the Horta from the Star Trek original series episode Devil in the Dark.
How do we cut this guy's mic? I don't understand.
I don't know, but Drew is on a roll this evening. He is on nerd fire. I don't know.
That's why I've moved over to the Nerdonian. I'm going to try to speak Klingon to this fool and see.
Nuknek!
Yeah, it's pretty loud, and you're able to like get in like a few words in Aslanti, and they're maybe looking around at some wares and kind of peering up into the top there, and they maybe don't speak very good Aslanti because they're just like, hi.
Could I ask about Talmrin?
Hi.
So Talmrin means nothing to you?
Talmrin, hi.
You've been very helpful, thank you. And she moves on.
As they go, they say something in their own language, and it's like,
does anyone speak Infernal?
Are you just shouting curse words in Infernal like into the heaven? Why don't you guys make me a perception check? See what you hear here. Oh boy! All right, we got some natural ones here.
Oh boy!
I don't know if that's correct, Miles. You have a negative 1 in perception, but you rolled a 2, so I'm not putting too much stock on that roll.
Right.
I got a 27.
Oh, that's pretty good. So it looks like Bumfuzzle, you've moved over to like the eastern side of the concourse a little bit away from the main group, and from there you've got. You hear the same thing, dozens of alien languages, but you're able to see something perhaps the rest of these folk don't notice. A couple of Dralics seem to be tailing after your friends, and you see them kind of shimmer slightly, this dark greasy sheen that makes them a little hard to see in the dim light here. They're right over here, these two guys.
Okay. And so they seem to be sort of intently looking at our group, or
yeah, they're like talking to one another, and like as you guys like walk forward a bit, like they take a few steps, they seem to be trailing the giant blue bear and the humanoid looking fellow Kaz. Does anyone speak Aklo?
Do not. Nope.
Yeah, pretty random languages spoken here at the station.
Hold on.
Unless the Callow speak Aklo, because I wrote Callow down on my list. but I wasn't actually sure if that was the language or not.
Yeah. Right. Well, what you guys hear as these figures come up behind you is Wanta crew haro finjal braradi finjal malaparapat finjal araru. And yeah, you guys can turn around and see these two Dralic look like they have a tattoo of a third eye on their foreheads and carry with them staves that seem to crackle to life with dark energy. And as their weapons alight, all the other creatures, alien creatures nearby, begin to scatter away and like run into corners. I need everyone to make an initiative roll check for me.
Oh, come on. Man, I have the worst initiative in the planet.
Alrighty, we are in an initiative turn order. These guys seem to be brandishing weapons against you, shouting things in an alien language nobody here understands. Bumfuzzle, you saw this from afar, and you're like on the back side of these people that are menacing your team. You're at the top of the turn order. What do you want to do, Chipper?
I want to try to chill everybody out right now. I want to try to run up and sort of like wave them off and be like, no, this is all fine. And I have my hands up in the air, no weapons in my hands. I'm like, this is all fine. It's not a big deal. Everybody's good.
What is Bumfuzzle's diplomacy like?
It is something.
It's +1 right now.
It's +1, so it's not none.
Oh no. Oh no.
So just gonna run up and be like, it's out. This is fine. And I'm just like sort of like have my hands out, sort of like supplicating, just like no.
Go ahead and give me a roll. Gonna tell you though, it's gonna be huge.
Oh, it's not great.
Because they're already at the very least getting to very hostile right now. 9 on the diplomacy check is not going to do it. They look, or one of them turns around, like looks over his shoulder, holding this staff, and yeah, you've got his attention at the very least. Kaz, we're on to you. What would you like to do?
Kaz is going to run up past Wynn and get right between these two Dralics. In flanking position with Bumfuzzle.
Not flanking. I'm not holding a weapon.
Yeah.
I'm specifically trying to not be threatening right now.
Eventually, you might be flanking.
Standing next to Bumfuzzle, and he is going to try to strike out at the one between Bumfuzzle and Kaz that's right here on the east.
Excellent.
With a dirty trick. So that is going to be an 18 on the dirty trick.
18 is not going to hit their KC plus 4, unfortunately. Whatever you need here. But yeah, as you get close to them, you notice, it seems to be just like a little darker around them. You are in dim light here in the station, so a little difficult for Kaz to see. That is your turn. When we're on to you, Giant Bear. You got some aggressors here on the station floor.
So he's going to take a guard forward just a little bit to there's a Dralic right in front of him, so he's going to step forward a little bit, keeping 5 feet in between them, and jab at him with his trident.
Alrighty, pulling that weapon off your back. I'm guessing you carry it around.
Yep, that is a 21.
Oh, that's going to be hit
for 8 points of damage.
Ouch. First hit of this combat. You drive the trident down, and it tries to like hold back the the spear tips with its staff, but you just like push it in, and it's unable to resist that bear strength.
Here comes the choo-choo.
Yeah, a lot of damage too. What do you roll on the dice here? I can't even tell. Like a 6?
17.
No, I mean damage.
Oh,
it does D8, right? So
yeah.
Anyway, good turn there. Talara, we are on to you.
Yeah, Talara's around the corner, and she hears her friends friends. I use that term loosely right now.
Well, you can see them. This area in the middle is recessed.
Okay, well then she openly rolls her eyes at Wynn and Kaz and comes forward and wants to, can I use diplomacy and try to calm everybody down a little bit?
Once again, you can. It's going to be, I'm not going to lie to you guys, a high roll because you don't speak the language. It adds +5. They haven't attacked you yet, so I'll say they're very unfriendly at the moment, if not hostile. So you're gonna have to
Wynn just stabbed somebody.
high.
Is it helpful if her language is similar to their language, though?
No, that's not.
No, not really.
That's not how different planets' languages work. So.
Does it help that I'm a smuggler and know how to talk to smugglers?
I don't know. Is it a part of your theme?
Well, I'm a space pirate is my theme, but my profession is smuggler.
Yeah, no, these guys don't look like any pirates that you've seen. You're standing behind Wynn currently. Are you trying to mime something over to them?
Yeah, I'm trying to use sign language and explain that everything's cool, guys. All
right, give me that interpretive dance real quick. Describe what it looks like.
All right, so she raises her hands up in the air with her palms outward. She is clearly not armed and kind of makes eyes at Kaz and Wynn and rolls her eyes they're crazy. Don't totally ignore everything they're doing. Everything's fine. We're all friends here.
We stab each other all the time as friends.
Kaz looks at Talara and says, "Why don't you do that in combat?"
Call back. Go ahead and make me that diplomacy roll. Very high numbers are needed here.
That's a 25. 26 with my charming veneer.
26. Very good. Very good. I'm giving you a little situational bonus for describing your actions. Still not enough. 16 on the dice.
Man.
Not going to be enough with the language barrier as well. That unfortunately is all your turn. Nakithi, next in the turn order.
Has anybody tried speaking another language to them?
Like Islanti?
Yeah, like Islanti. They're speaking Aklo. Or, well, we as players know they're speaking Aklo. But, we know we can't understand their language, but, they might be multilingual. We could try cycling through languages and seeing if we don't have a common one. So Nakithi will spend his turn cycling through his language and seeing languages and seeing if he can't get a response using any of the ones he knows. Obviously, he's not going to use common because they would have responded in common if that worked. But he'll try Osharan, Aslanti, Infernal, and Abyssal and seeing if any of that can. And he'll spend his whole turn doing it.
There's a voice that calls out from behind you, hiding behind a crate. It looks like an Indifian woman who calls back in Aslanti and says,
"They worship the broken lord. They don't want to talk. They want to kill."
He shouts back in Aslanti, "Oh, well then, thank you. I will honor their wish to die."
"You look real stupid trying to negotiate with them."
We are new in town. Please cut me some slack here.
So basically, Kaz and Wynn look good and everyone else looks dumb.
People seem to, on the promenade, know what is going down here when these two came up to you.
To be fair, Wynn always looks dumb, so this is a change. So
that was a lame attempt at a clap back.
So that was
a great shot.
That was Nakithi's turn, but Idis still has all of her allotment, and knowing what we now know, Idis will move. Oops, I moved everybody. Idis will move 30 feet to get around Wynn, and then fire her brand new weapon at the Dralic that is right in front of Wynn, the wind staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go right ahead.
See how this goes.
Oh no!
And I've rolled a natural toot.
Toot won't doot. It is their turn. They've got these staves, and I think one of them is going to try and step forward and take a attack against Wynn, the one that Wynn stabbed. Believe it or not, wants a little bit of payback for that. I've rolled a 5 on the dice, and I don't need to ask you, Casey. That's not going to hit. And this other one, is just going to look around. He kind of looks Kaz up and down, and going to use a fun ability. Just going to use a great ability that maybe you guys, I don't know if you've seen it before, because I don't remember if Alindra had this ability. But you see this dark sheen that kind of coats his armor and the Draelic's exposed scaly skin darken up a great deal more. And you see what looks like, if you've seen a Solarian before, very similar kind of dark matter just kind of coating its skin. And it will also make a standard attack against Kaz, bringing the stave down, hopefully on him. Nope, I rolled a 7 this time. Also gonna be a miss. Great. And that is the end of turn 1. We're back to turn 2 with Bum Puzzle.
So I also speak in Slanty, and I hear the person shouting out, "They're here to kill you!" I say,
"Oh no! I mean, jump!"
And so I pull out a knife very quickly, and I just sort of swipe it across this guy's weird reptile fish feet.
Okay.
Oh, it's not great. So it's a wild slash, and it goes wide.
That won't do, believe it or not, even with flanking a 4 on the dice. We all roll bad numbers sometimes. That's going to bring us back to Kaz, who's now got a friend in Bumfuzzle.
All right, so I've got a friend in Bumpuzzle and a friend in Itis. I'm flanking with both of these guys.
Oh boy.
So we're going to take 2 strikes, 1 for each.
All right, that's a way to do it. So let's go to the one with Bumfuzzle first.
All right, here we go. Entropic Strike. That is a 19 minus 3 is 16 plus 2 is...
Crunch.
Yeah.
That is a hit.
That's 10 damage.
Oh my gosh. I forgot level 3. You guys do so much more damage now. Right, so that is a hit, and you bring your fist pummeling into this fairly weak-looking Draelic. It does seem like this sheen around its body is soaking up a little bit of that damage. But for the most part, that is going through. And there's the first damage on this one between you and Bumpuzzle. Let's go to the second attack to the one you're flanking with Itis.
Even better. That's a 20 to hit.
Oh boy. Wow, 15 on the dice.
Yeah.
And almost the same amount of damage. This figure does not seem indeed to have these same defenses up, the dark matter defenses. So all this damage going through. Wow. All right, and we are on back to win.
All right. I'm going to take a guard step back and then stab with my trident.
Guarded step, stab.
It's a 14 to hit.
A 14 is unfortunately not enough.
All right.
Against, you're using your pike, that is a miss. So that is your turn, Talara. We're back to you. Big fight broke out now amidst everyone. Diplomacy out the window.
Yeah. I guess I'll summon a creature. We'll see on the next turn what I decide to summon.
Here comes that summon sound.
45 minutes later.
I was about to say, I think the sound effect takes longer than IRL in the game. Like the 3 seconds it takes.
It's a full round summon. That takes a lot of time.
Nikithi and Drone Itis, we're back to you.
Nikithi is reminiscing on what the Diffin woman said to him. Would he be able to identify this broken one that she spoke of?
Make me a culture check. Draelic aren't super well known in the pact, but you might have.
I don't have any. I don't have any ranks in culture, Patrick. How about mysticism?
Okay, actually, yes, I will allow that because this is a fairly mystical order.
I will give that a chance, and I rolled a. I thought it was going to be a 17, but it was a 3. An 11 altogether.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen maybe these kind of figures before and figure there was some kind of religious faith, but they do have what looks like a tattooed third eye, like on their very, very large forehead. And they're dressed in very drab colors and seem to be summoning this dark energy. You don't know what these guys are, though. Don't know. This is the definition of very alien to you all.
Gotcha. Well, Nikithi not being able to figure much else out is going to leave everything up with Idis, who is flanking with Kaz, and maybe invigorated by Kaz's successful full attack. She's going to do a full attack of her own with the claws.
Good girl.
First attack against this Dralic is going to be an 18 on the dice, so a 19 to hit.
That's a hit.
That's 6 points of damage.
Okay, it's still up.
Second attack is gonna be a 10 on the dice. Ooh, not gonna do it.
Oh, yeah, was that 12 or so?
Yeah.
That is a miss against KAC, but this guy looks like he's ready to fall down. Thankfully, it is his turn, and he's gonna fortunately stay where he is and also summon up the dark matter to kind of coalesce over his body. Not that I think that's gonna make him last for another round, but that is the move action, and then it is going to try and I think he's going to try and bring his dark matter stave down on Idis.
That would be unfortunate.
15 on the dice. That is a hit, and this is indeed a hybrid weapon, a magical weapon known as a shadow staff, and is fairly basic. It is going to deal a little bit of damage here. Looks like this guy is weakly bringing this down on Idis for 3 points of damage. Let me double check this.
Yeah, go for it. That doesn't seem right.
Oh, nope. Yeah, it's 3 points of bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing. My choice, as the blades kind of manifest at the end of it. So this will be bludgeoning. It's just kind of trying to crush this weird looking creature in front of it.
Idis's innate DR will reduce that to 2.
Yes, it says it's dark energy, but I imagine this is very similar to a Solarian's weapon, which is like technically made of energy, but does one of the 3 damage types.
Okay.
And the other one has a couple attacks. It is going to. They'll send one to Kaz and one to Bumfuzzle. Let's divide them up for some reason. First to Kaz. An 8 on the dice is going to be a miss, and to Bumfuzzle. A 3 on the dice is going to be a miss. These guys are, if their goal is to die, I'm doing a great job, guys.
maybe we should just knock these guys out and then try to mine them for information.
And you might have a chance on turn 3, which starts now. Bumfuzzle, we're back to you. Gerbert.
I pull a patch off of a wrist bracelet that I have, and I point it at the fish man. And it shoots a spray of salt. I was saving it for Nikithi, but
in case Nikithi turned.
right. But I'm like, he's a bigger threat now. Salt in your face. And let's see how well this projects my salt. Well, actually, you know what?
Yeah, engineer that salt catapult.
Well, the thing actually incorporates my check with the attack roll now. So, here we go. This is including flanking. CR 10 or lower.
Oh yeah, they CR 10. So you got that.
All right, and 25 on the attack.
That is a hit and a distracted one at that.
For the least amount of damage. Almost possible. 4 points of damage.
Oh, but still, points on the board for this one who's only been hit once by Kaz. And speaking of our human devil friend here, Kaz, we're on to you.
So Kaz is going to once again make 2 attacks, one on each of the Dralic.
All right.
So his first entropic strike, he takes a roundhouse kick to the Dralic's head for 19 to hit. Oh, I'm sorry, 20 to hit with flanking.
Is this the one next to Bumfuzzle?
The one next to Bumfuzzle.
That is a hit.
For 9 damage.
Okay. What kind of damage?
Let's do both acid and bludgeoning.
Okay, yeah, so he looks pretty weak. A little confused why he's getting stabbed and punched at the same time. But he is still up. And let's go attack on the other
Dralic.
And we're doing some fancy feet work. He's just going to do a high kick straight to the head. Again, not a roundhouse, but a regular high kick. And he's going to miss that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, flashbacks.
With an 8 to hit.
Flashbacks of like jumping through the hallways of the Phoenix's Wrist Pit.
Yeah.
It's like, no, my trainee.
He's excited, and he's maybe a little overexcited.
Perhaps Wynn can close this one out. He looks like he's about to drop dead.
He's gonna try to, slam that trident into him one more time.
Single attack.
It's a 22. 22 to hit for 8 points of damage.
It wanted to drop on a 2 on that D20,
Yeah,
but
it didn't.
that is enough to stab him once more with the trident, and he goes down. His staff kind of clambering to the ground, almost falling into the pit in the center of the promenade. You have a move action. Anything you want to do?
Yeah, he's gonna move to the side, so he's still about 5 feet away from the other one. So he's threatening him as well.
Okay. Yep. Bringing your trident and drag it along with this guy's best friend's like blood on it still. Talara, we're on to you. What summon time is it?
Well, I was going to try something new, but in order to flank with Wynn, I'm going to bring out Tiny Demon because he flies.
Yep, he can fly right over the pit. Pop him in short stuff. I imagine it's going to do some kind of attack.
Yep, double attack, I believe.
Oh no.
I'm going to drop this guy.
Ready?
I have arrived to kill Talara's enemies.
Oh boy, we need to incorporate those submissions from the June fan challenge immediately.
Yep.
All right, this is bite number 1. Oh, that's going to not do it. That's a 10.
Thank goodness.
Wait, 12.
12
Okay.
KC is a miss. Oh
Then
boy.
Second.
Ooh.
Oh man, 13.
Also a miss, thank goodness. Oh, I was dreading some summon attacks, but yeah, it didn't roll over. A 10 on the dice. What do you want to do? You still have a full turn you can take, Rebecca.
Yeah,
Talara.
I'm gonna I'll shoot my gun.
Laser pistol shooting through some friends through combat here. Go right ahead. A little easier hit, EAC. I don't think anyone beside Kaz has targeted that.
Man, that's a 15.
Let's see. He's getting a little armor cover here. Nope, that is going to be a miss.
All right.
Miss. Nikithi and Drone-itis. What you got, Tyler?
Nikithi will shout out to his comrades once again that maybe trying to take them alive would be this one. Trying to take this one alive is better. And then Itis will move in. I would really like to be flanking with someone, but I don't think I can make that happen. So Itis will just take a single attack. Non-lethal here. -4.
Okay.
Oh, that's a critical hit.
And it's probably dead anyway.
That's 18 points of non-lethal damage.
Yeah, very, very unconscious. Kind of overkill, Tyler. A quick shout out to our Patreon subscribers, especially those at the our fancy Marmalade and Soul Bonded players level and above. If you're listening to this, we need more shout outs, so give them to us on our Patreon campaign. That will do it for this fight, as I just ragdoll physics this guy and kind of like rears it up in the air, brings it down.
Nikithi immediately looks over at Talara and says, "Your manacles might be useful here."
We are well out of combat, as this thing, I can tell you, outside of combat, this was almost to its turn 3, where this guy was going to basically explode in what is known as a dark nova. It's very similar to the Solarian ability, and there was a lot of people around him, which I was very excited about. Thank you, Tyler.
You're right. Hey, it is tradition. If I declare something to be non-lethal, I will roll a critical hit.
It's canon. It's canon.
Third time it's happened.
Tradition.
Remember that kish that Edros knocked its eye out?
Tradition.
This Endypian comes up behind you and says,
You handled the death cultists very well. We try to give them a wide berth, but they do not care for outsiders here.
Yeah, I apologize that we disrupted the marketplace, so it was not our intention, but we are new to the system.
Ah, yes. Welcome. Fights happen, but we have a saying here on Outpost Said that is very applicable in this situation.
What is it?
To be continued. We say it all the time.
I am very familiar with this saying.
It's a packed world system saying too.
Yes.
We say it like once a week.
You see what has happened here. You see what has happened here. We have bridged cultures and formed a connection.
Guys, that's going to do it. I hope you are ready for a weird adventure.
Good.
It's only, this is as normal as it gets. This is Promenade. It's going to get a lot weirder after this.
All right.
Buckle in for some shenanigans. Get those diplomacy dice ready if you want to try and talk down some weird aliens again. And formulate your plans for making your way through the alien kind of end of the galaxy here at Outpost Said. Because it's going to be a lot of this. We got a big map here to explore in a fairly average-sized space station. We're not even like a quarter of the way through this map.
Ooh, intriguing.
All right.
Look forward to taking care of members of another death cult. Another one.
Yeah, these guys
loves death cults.
These guys are much cooler, though. We'll talk about the Dralix maybe when we get done with this book. But as you can see, there's a large population of them here. Maybe you'll become best friends with some before the adventures ends. Maybe this one that you knocked out.
It's kind of interesting. In this game, we met both a Witchweird and a Dralic. I have a boon in SFS that has both of those races.
Oh, are you leaning one way or the other on which one's cooler?
I don't know. Dralic kind of look like broccoli.
They do not like that to be called that. That's specifically.
I wouldn't say it to their face, but
that makes it better.
Witchweird could look like broccoli underneath the clothing.
Yeah,
you don't
who knows what they look like?
They could look like cauliflower.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, look at these beautiful devils. That's going to do it for us this week. We will continue the adventure of Book 2 of Against the Aeon Throne next time. But until then, signing off. See you next week, Crittermanders.
See you next week.
Bye bye.
Don't forget to eat your pickles.
Pookles.
I know I didn't make it weird.